Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Make it an amazing day. Make it. We're out here at the sacred grove I built in honor of my ancestors, the Danes, the Vikings, and their ancestors, the tribes, the clans from Magna Germania. Their sacred groves to do celebrations, ceremonies, various things. Investigate your ancestors. There's a good chance back in ancient times, antiquity, they had sacred groves. Sacred. We're under the sacred trees at the sacred grove by the sacred creek to have a sacred moment. The title of this video is Your Mind Isn't Out to Get You. Your mind is the alma mater. If you research the origin of that description, alma mater, if you research the etymology of it, back in ancient times, times of antiquity, Latin, Greek, alma mater means nourishing mother. So your mind isn't out to get you. Your mind is a nourishing mother. I was surfing YouTube last night, just curious. And I know someone out there just said, Johan, curiosity killed the cat. Well, Johan says, but satisfaction brought him back. And there was a title of a video that popped up that stirred me a little bit. So I wanted to see what this person had to say about it. These are channels that, and I have to be honest, I always don't look at the bios. So I'm guessing they're channels about spirituality and healing. So I started to watch this one particular video. It was out for a few hours and already had a lot of views, like 10 times the views I get. 20 times, and had a lot of subscribers, hundreds of subscribers, hundreds of times the subscribers that I have, so in the thousands. So I'm like, okay, I want to know what intrigues people to watch this person's videos. So he starts out talking about childhood problems, and addiction, and then he says, I never got into that, thank God. I never had that experience. And the fact that he interjected that at the beginning of the video, childhood experiences with drugs and things like that, the fact that that was interjected at the beginning of the video led me to believe that that's part of the basis of the video, okay? But then he said he never had that experience. Then he said, your mind is out to get you. Your mind is out to get you. And at that point, the foundation of my being started to shake. My soul. And then he said, remember that video I talked about God and the devil? And I had to click off. I had to click off. I don't know where the video was going. I didn't like how it started. Number one, we're going to talk about this, which I never had the experience of, he said. Number two, he says your mind is out to get you. And number three, he invokes God and the devil. And I didn't watch the rest of the video because that was troubling to me. It was troubling to me because from my decades of experience, that type of intro falls under what I call the Sword of Damocles. You ever hear that term, the Sword of Damocles? In other words, in your life, something bad is going to happen at any moment because I'll put something in the description about the Sword of Damocles. As a matter of fact, this is kind of funny in a way. The first time I ever heard that term, the Sword of Damocles, when I was a kid, it was when I was watching the Three Stooges. There was a pie hanging over, I think it was Shemp's head, a pie that Curly threw up and it stuck to the ceiling and it was coming down slowly and it was about to hit Mo on the head. The Sword of Damocles. I'm going to talk to you about something I've not had experience about or with in this video I was watching, he said. Then he said, your mind is out to get you. And then he said, God and the devil, and that was it for me. Are you trying to help people heal? Or are you trying to keep them in suspense with some kind of threat so they keep coming back? You know, you get views that way. And a lot of channels are like that. What I've noticed with these channels is, and that's not the first one where someone was talking about something they had no experience with. And I get it. I get it. If you go to a counselor or a therapist, chances are they've had no experience with things that you're going through. Yet maybe they have. But they studied the mind and how the mind works, what affects the mind, and how we react to these things, okay? Maybe you are a psychologist and you're on YouTube. But if that's the case, I don't know where God and the devil fits in. Yesterday I put out a short video titled, Do You Want to Transcend? Do you want to transcend? And transcendence means existing or experiencing above the normal level or above the physical level. Above what is normal. Above what is physical. And I realized on a lot of these channels, the advice is about your intentions. Your intentions. Not all of them. What I've learned over the decades is you can get the attention of the universe, that power, that energy, with your intentions. But the universe only responds to your actions. Your actions. I mentioned I've spent decades studying religions, doctrines, tenets, spiritual paths. I mentioned I'm self-taught in neuroscience, years. So I have a pretty good idea how the mind works, the brain, your thoughts, and how we react to the world around us. And the remedies to improve your quality of life. The remedies to improve your quality of life. Because that's what we want to do, isn't it? The remedy or remedies to improve your quality of life is to transcend those obstacles. In other words, I present to you ideas, methods, concepts from ancient masters that help you exist or experience above the normal level, above the physical level. It's up to you to practice these methods, one of which is meditation. And that's the action the universe responds to. Your mind isn't out to get you. But if you're living in the land of the lost and associating with lost people, in other words, if your interactions with people are with people who have no spiritual path and are spiritually sick, because they're all caught up in the drama. They're stuck in the past because of mistreatment. They have the victim mentality. They only respond to life inappropriately. That's the land of the lost. Those people, they're spiritually sick, okay? They're spiritually sick. If you're mingling with those types of people and absorbing their tactics and responses to the ups and downs of life, you're going to be sick too. You're going to remain in the land of the lost. Where your focus goes, that's where your energy flows. Where your focus goes, that's where your energy flows. And when we're spiritually sick and we don't have healthy remedies to get through the day, our thought process, when something happens in our life that's unexpected or even expected, I'm talking about negative things, when those things happen, our mind is going to go into riot mode, psychotic. psychotic reactions, paranoid, people are out to get me. Maybe some are. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you realize what is going on around you. And now the question is, do you still want to participate in that destructive behavior? Those destructive reactions to daily life. Do you? What I learned in the 12-step program about recovering from addiction is to be aware of people, places, and things. People, places, and things that trigger you as you mature, that might take you back. People, places, and things, well, to put it this way, that aren't good for you, that you shouldn't be associated with. Because they're in the land of the lost. They're in the land of the lost. And a few of them, maybe many of them, have been presented with the opportunity to heal, which is what the basis is of my teachings. I give you an experience I've had. I've had many of them. And you watch my videos because you could relate. Oh yeah, I've had that experience too. Here's a guy giving a teaching that's had the same experience as me. And not just that, this man is providing a remedy for those experiences. And the remedy is spirituality. Spiritual path, spiritual way. Remember I said Google spirituality. Google spiritual path. Google spiritual ways. Long before our modern times, before, as history tells us, a monk decided to change the calendar to AD and BC, thousands of years before that, philosophers and mystics were discussing the human drama and discussing the remedies. The Stoics, for instance, thousands of years before the Common Era. I mentioned in a video the other day, this is the proof for me. So for years I was living my life using, let's call them principles from Christianity. So I know what the results were. Then, when I was introduced to spirituality in 1988, I started to investigate those ancient teachings from antiquity, before the Common Era, apply those principles to my life, and look at the results. I know what the results are. My life improved. The quality of my life improved using those ancient teachings. I'm responsible for my actions and reactions at the end of the day. I'm responsible. And there's no excuse. It's not the devil. It's not because I don't go to a church often enough or at 12-step meetings. You're not attending enough meetings. No, it's not that. It's because I fail to take the steps to know myself. To thine own self be true, it's written in Shakespeare. And this above all else, like the night and the day. And then thou canst not be false to any man. To thine own self be true. Know thyself, the oracles wrote. back in ancient Greece. Know thyself. If you're spiritually sick and you're in the land of the lost, it's like being in kindergarten. And you may be an adult today, but you're acting like a kindergartner. Our minds aren't out to get us. Our minds are the alma mater, the nourishing mother. Can you imagine this? In here is the nourishing mother. Nourishing. In the real world, to be nourished is to receive sustenance, food. Like you would feed a baby, food so that it grows. What's nourishing you as an adult? Drama? TikTok? Playing video games all day? Facebook all day? Pornography all day? Gambling all day? Overeating all day? Thinking of ways to get back at people that hurt your feelings? Is that what's nourishing you? Is that what you think about and do first thing in the morning? I could identify life's problems all day long. On this channel, I share my experiences. You haven't heard 1/10 of them. But there is someone today that knows everything about me, the good, the bad, and the ugly. That was part of the 12-step process, what I learned. In other words, I got it all out to someone. Counselors, therapists, and my sponsor in AA, which is like a spiritual guide. And then, what is most important is when I got to this point where I could breathe a sigh of relief, thank God that's over. I got it out of my system. I needed to prepare myself for the new life ahead. And that meant learning new ways to interact with the world around me. Maybe you could say up to that point my mind was out to get me, but I put a video out the other day. I think it's titled The First Steps to Your Destiny. And I may have touched on this in a video before or after. Oh, it's the one about sin nature versus what we found out in modern times about the mind through psychology and neuroscience. Anyway, when we're born with an impulse to react to life's situations and to be curious. We're born with that. And if you aren't taught or guided as a child, your reactions may be catastrophic. And your curiosity may take you to places you shouldn't be. You get it? Imagine human beings born without this impulse to react to things, born without this sense of curiosity. I'm not saying this disrespectfully, but look at a person with dementia. They've lost their impulse reflexes. They've lost their sense of curiosity. Okay? Some people live their whole lives like that in the land of the lost. What stimulates you? What gets you excited? Where do you go for your dopamine hits? We're talking about the brain, the mind. Well, if you're in the land of the lost, chances are you're going to get your dopamine hits from Facebook, TikTok, playing video games all day, pornography, overeating, gambling, retaliating against people when they hurt, frustrate, disappoint, or annoy you. That's where you're going to get your stimulation from. When somebody hurts, frustrates, disappoints, or annoys you, to punish them makes you feel good. You know what I'm talking about? That isn't your mind out to get you. Those are learned responses. And if you don't transcend, if you don't exist and experience above the normal level or above the physical level, all I can tell you is you're headed for big trouble every day. Your mind isn't out to get you. My guru said, your mind is the garbage bin of society. All that junk, all that trash that's in there from society, people around you, commercials, TV, video games, pornography, all that stuff I mentioned. The garbage in your mind. Your mind isn't out to get you. Your mind is functioning, being nourished by garbage and trash. You understand? Your mind is not out to get you. Your mind is the alma mater, the nourishing mother. It's the connection we have to the universal power, the universe, the Great Spirit, the Creator. Intentions may get the attention of the universe, but it's your actions, the actions you take, is when the universe responds. The actions you take to better yourself, get rid of that garbage in your mind and put new information in, and then take actions to improve your quality of life, that's when you connect with the universe. That's what's called God consciousness. If you're watching this tattooed former Marine biker and learning something, I thank you. I thank you. I've been transformed. I've been reborn. I've had that psychic change. I've had spiritual awakenings. Spiritual awakenings continue in my life as I learn life's lessons and continue to learn lessons. I have had a profound personality change. I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago. I'm not the same person I was 5 years ago. I may not be the same person I was yesterday because I learned a new lesson. I get you. I get you. I've been through what you're going through or what you've been through. Make it an amazing day. Make it. It's your choice. It's your decision what kind of day you're going to have. And not just that, make it an amazing life. It's your choice. It's your decision what kind of life you're going to have. Your mind is not out to get you. Your mind is the nourishing mother, and it's nourished by what you put into it. And the actions you take when you connect with the universe and follow the natural laws, your quality of life improves. I'm proof. The tattooed Marine biker is proof that people change walking a spiritual path, using spiritual principles, and don't focus on the problem, focus on the solution. Today's Independence Day. It's time for you to be independent from false teachings that keep you coming back because the Sword of Damocles is hanging over your head. It's not. It's not once you cross that threshold of liberation, independence. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for leaving a comment. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you again. I appreciate you.